everyone. It's Friday night and we're feeling all right, I think.
Thank God.
What? I was singing. I was giving it the old sing song. I can't sing worth a shit, mind you, but let's go. I'm just
It'll only rain in Scotland.
Wow.
cheeky bit. How is everybody? How the hell devils are you?
Warm.
I'm fine, thank you.
What about you, Tim?
I'm dying. I've got the man flu.
Oh well, if we never talk, if anything happens to you, I'll be there. Don't you worry, my love.
She'll give you mouth to mouth that you're all good.
I'm young enough to be your sister.
Yes.
Oh, puppy dog. Oh.
Right. Hi, Noreen. Oh, there's a dog. Oh,
Puppy dog.
oh. Hey,
Oh.
Noreen, how you doing? So, guys, I just thought tonight it's kind of been a rough week. Why not just sit back and have a chill night? Let's have a laugh. Now I've forgotten where I've shared everything because it's refreshed. So if I shared twice or three times, so sorry. But I just thought tonight, just have a wee bit of a kick back, have a laugh, talk paranormal, go down a good many few rabbit holes. We will be joined by Wayne and a special guest.
Yeah.
I'm not pronouncing his name because I slaughtered it.
Let's just
we
call
will
him
be
Aloe.
joined.
It's fine.
Aloe, aye.
Aloe.
So Wayne and Aloe. We will have Jane. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jenny.
What are
Jenny,
you thinking?
I think I need to get super glue to get my teeth unstuck. So we'll be joined by Jenny Sullivan as well at some point. So it's going to be a fun show tonight. So who wants to? Obviously, we are joined by Richard from Dutch Courage Paranormal Investigations.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it will be a fun night, and we're joined by the man with the good shirts, Tim
Absolutely.
from the Weird Room. And Bell's this Bell. Bell's this Bell. Yeah, she's the part of the furniture, so is Tim, and so is Rich. So I just want to start by saying, guys, please check out Royal Wolf Whisperers. I've joined with them, so I'm franchising for them for the UK. So please go and check them out. I will put the link in the description below. So yeah. So who wants to take us down a rabbit hole? What a rabbit hole before? Shut up.
Fox.
Do you know what he's saying?
I have quite a good one actually, and it was something that was brought to my attention last night, and I kind of wanted to get your guys' perspectives on it. So I sit in a development circle, a mediumship development circle. I've been doing it for about 3 years. I've met an amazing bunch of people there, and sort of towards the end of our circle session last night, we just sat there generally chatting as friends, and one of the women said that she had an experience about, I think it was the 28th of August, so it was last weekend. It was around the weekend around that time. And it was very distinctly the Saturday night, and I believe it was a full moon, but I might be wrong on that one. But basically, this lady who sits in our circle called Lisa, who is absolutely lovely, she had this very profound experience it was about 2:00 in the morning. And what actually happened was she felt like there had been an absolute shift of energy. Now, I know we've talked a lot about there being a big, massive shift coming and everything else. And she felt as though her vibrations, her frequency completely shifted. So the way she normally works is she will sense spirit, she will pick up on, she will hear like background noise from them, very much like environmental noise, that kind of thing. But she also sees a lot of energy as colours. This shift happened, and she is now seeing like almost full body apparitions around people. Now, this isn't something that Lisa's been working towards. It's not something she's ever experienced before. And as she was telling it, the main leader of the group, a gentleman called Gordon Murray, absolutely lovely, an amazing guy, really good friend. He said that he had very much the same experience. He felt like his whole energy that he was vibrating on completely shifted, and he was able to actually hear spirit a lot more clearer. Now, he's been a medium for, well, most of his life, but actively doing it for probably about the last 20-25 years. So very established, very sort of known within, not necessarily in the paranormal, but more in the spiritual circles. He's known as being a brilliant medium. But yeah, so this energy shift happened last weekend. Did any of you guys experience anything around sort of the Saturday night, Sunday morning? Did you feel any differences or anything like that? Because
I must have,
it made me.
oh, sorry, Bill.
That's fine.
What is everybody hearing that, or is that just me?
Yeah,
What was
I think
that?
it's fine.
Right,
Yeah. There's a weird
You all
pause
right,
then.
Ben?
Yeah.
So basically, right, to answer your question, for some weird reason, see when it's a full moon or anything like that, I always get like headaches and I feel dead exhausted.
Yeah.
Like it's my most tired this time, and I can't like understand why. It just seems to be when there's full moons that I seem to be really, really tired and really, really moody, and you know, it's like or other times it could be a calming aura. But it's just dead bizarre. So yeah, it's definitely happened to me. So I can understand it and I totally get it. Here's everybody. Here's Jen. Woo! Wayne, are you with us?
Wayne's World.
Ben.
There he
Oh,
is.
dear.
Oh my fucking god, is that Aldo?
Hello.
Oh my god, is this what you had me saying? I knew you were taking the piss.
Hello.
Oh my god. Do you know this man has terrorised me all day with his friend that he was bringing on? And I said, what's his name?
My head off.
It's a bloody alien. But I'm going to go into the chat because there's quickly building. We are all good. Yoo-hoo! Hey, Lorna. Hey, Joanne. Right, guys, that is the link for Royal Wolf Whisperers. Please come and check us out, guys. Hey, David. Here's a very man from Royal Wolf Whisperers. Hey, Nicola. Hey, Chris. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. I nearly said Aldo. Chris. Happy birthday to you. Hi, William. Friday. What did William say? Greetings from the world. Friday nights are poking. Jenny's on with us. Yep. Spooky night. Take me to your leader. Right, Aldo, you have to take away the leader. Samantha says I should be editing right now instead of making Wayne's life harder, and I'm listening to this. Happy birthday, Chris. Right, there goes. Happy birthday to someone I don't know, says Sam.
That was an absolute nightmare in that mask.
I can
So-
imagine.
It's 26 degrees in this kitchen.
It
right?
is in
And
here,
it
and all.
and
Have
it was
that
like
small
30
wine there.
And it was like 36 degrees in that mask.
It
I
serves
can
you
imagine.
right.
That's my Halloween costume for this year.
Oh, you dressed up as an alien?
I decided to go for a change this time, so I'm going to be an alien. But
Oh,
it was bizarre because I was winding you up all afternoon about it. Now, his name is Coca-Cola backwards.
why the fuck did I not figure that one out? Like, oh my god, that was so obvious. But I didn't. See, because
Like a cock is Coca-Cola backwards.
you had me turning.
A cock is Coca-Cola backwards.
Like a lot of cock.
You do you know how many times I said it and I'm like, no, Wayne is taking the utter piss out of me. I'm like, I need to figure this out, and I kept saying that, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right.
We even had a planet that he came from.
And I didn't even figure it out. It's like, oh, get in the game.
The planet he comes from was going to be called Texi Lortep. And that was the sign we saw for the petrol station, petrol exit.
Oh my
So it was
God.
Texi Lortep.
Oh my
But it was
God.
good
I did
because
effort in that.
I totally fooled you by saying we were going out for pizza and that he'd eaten 26
know.
pizzas and emptied the ice cream factory.
I didn't even think. See, because my brain's just been so wired and so mushed, and hence why I'm having this paranormal party. Because it's been a long week, and I'm just like trying to get my head in the game. And I'm sitting there going, aye, like a diddy. And then now that you've said that, I feel like a dick.
It's too much eyebrow, that's what it is.
Wally. William said 6 screens, it's like university challenge. Well, I'd fail it, William, let me tell you. Wayne, I love the hair, it's back to blonde, matey, way hey.
Oh, yes, of course.
Of course.
University
Right, so-
challenge when the young one's done it.
Oh, definitely. Right, I want to know who the young ones is. Well, the way that it's going, I feel like Neil. Like the young ones.
Very well, guys.
Can I be Vivian, please?
I can't believe, honestly, I didn't get that. Stupid. I am so bloody stupid. So, Jenny, Richard, welcome to the Madhouse.
Hi.
Thank you, Vivian.
Madhouse of fun. Jenny, I can't hear you, love.
Still can't hear you.
Can you clicking?
Hello?
That's me. I'm fanning myself. I'm really hot.
Oh, you always, Bill, always.
I'll tell you what, it's been warm today,
Are
hasn't
you
it?
alright, Jenny? Jenny, I
Jenny,
still can't hear you.
Jenny, if you come out the feed and then come back in again, that might clear up.
I have no idea. Love, I don't have any idea. All right. We're playing a game of charades. Guess
Well,
what Jenny's saying?
What party wouldn't be complete without a game of charades?
Absolutely.
Bog off.
Jenny, I still can't hear you. Right, sorry, Bill, I interrupted during your thing. So, guys, the full moon, have you had any experiences with the full moon where you feel different?
No,
Yeah, there's been a definite energy shift. I will admit that because I've got more sort of in tune with the paranormal as to the last 2 videos I've done on YouTube. I've had direct voice phenomena where I've actually heard what's been said, and I've just hoped that the cameras picked it up, and luckily it had. First one was at the German War Cemetery on Cannock Chase.
Yeah.
Is that working?
And I was using
Yep,
spirit.
that's fucking woohoo!
The what?
I was cursing.
Power!
Okay, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Ah,
Yeah, this voice. I was using Spirit Talker, and it was coming out with some relevant information. But this guy called Fred kept coming through,
Excuse me.
and I just turned around and said, "Fred, you've come through 4 or 5 times now. Says, have you got anything to say?" And all I heard was, "Yeah," and it's on the video. You can hear "yeah" on the video. But that's
Wow.
all.
oh wow. Oh wow,
And then
that's it.
farm, we just had was it a whimper?
Well, it's like a child's voice.
Yeah, child's voice came through. That was down in this because we could only get into the basement area.
There's not much left of it.
There's only the basement area left. And we had a child's voice come through, and I asked her to set all the K2s and gap balls off, and we'd go. And it did. So respectfully, we left.
Oh well.
Just haven't
What?
told them about the word master when I come out.
Yes. Oh yeah.
The word master come out.
Yeah, the word
It
master,
just went crazy.
and everything just went mental.
Oh well.
Blimey.
A busy
Well,
house.
What about you, Jenny? Have
What?
you had
What was the question?
any experiences with the filming? Like, how does it change you if it
Yeah.
does?
I got a lot of big cop on. It gave me some cop on. Yes, it did. Did I have any good experiences? No, just a lot of cop on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
like women.
I know.
Wait.
But full moon, we all have to wake up sometimes, but there you go. Yeah, so I didn't get anything weird. I just got sense.
You got a sense. Well, I love when the filming gives us sense without a shadow of a doubt. What about you, young Wayne? Have you had any experiences with the?
No, not really. Found I had to shave more, but other than that, sorry, I couldn't. You know, it took me all that time to figure an answer for that one about the full moon, and you know that's the end result.
Diamond.
Had to shave more, but no, I haven't really. I can feel there's more energy when there's a full moon, but I've not experienced anything sort of in the years that I've been investigating. I've never noticed any activity that would be a lot more predominant than any other time.
Yeah, wouldn't
Yeah.
heighten up anymore. That's what we check for as well. When the full moon is there, you know, we see if it heightens anything up. It doesn't really.
No.
The weather now, I remember with the weather, this dog is driving me crazy. With the weather, it was torrential rain one night, thunder and lightning, and we were down in the south of Ireland. And the activity was crazy, absolutely crazy. And then we got a phone call. One of the team members' husband wasn't well, so we had to go home, and we were like 20 minutes into the investigation, so we couldn't finish it off.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Something happened, one of the husbands, but I was like, he'll be grand. The neighbor will go into him. He'll be all right.
I think
Oh.
that's one of the good things is if you've got a thunderstorm when there's an investigation.
The blue weather.
2 years ago, I was filming for Truth Beyond Paranormal over at Beacon Hill Fort in Harwich in Essex. And the owners had just recently reopened it for touring. And it's literally, there was a settlement there from 1700s. And then in the 1800s, as part of the Napoleonic defences, they built coastal guns there and an observation tower. And then it was used right the way up until the Second World War, where they put anti-aircraft guns in and more renewed the coastal batteries. And then it after the war, it all just shut down. It got overgrown. Someone brought it back to life again. And the first night we filmed there twice, because the first night we got there was 6 thunderstorms surrounded us.
Wow.
And it all seemed to converge right on top of us. Where we were standing by the actual sea wall itself, we could see right out into the North Sea, right out inland towards London, and then around again towards Cambridge area and Peterborough way.
Yeah.
And you could see these 6 storms all heading to one point. And that one point was right over our heads. And Sam, who's in the chat, she'll remember this. We all stood there looking, and we're like, what do we do? Do we carry on filming, knowing that it's going to absolutely throw it down and flood all the underground tunnels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do we take the educated guess and just go, because it's going to get too dangerous? So we tried to give it as much as possible, and in the end, we noticed these storms were right over. So we said, look, it's going to start chucking it down any minute. We better quit. And it was a good job we did, because no sooner we got all our gear, got it back into my car, the heavens opened. And poor Marcus, Sam's husband, he had to open the gate so I could drive the car through. He got absolutely drenched. He shut the gate, locked it, got in the car, and just as I was about to pull away, this massive bolt of lightning came down right in front of the car.
Oh, good.
And I'm like, yeah, I think it's a good job we've quit. It's a good job we're heading home now. And we had to drive through the storm back to Colchester to get out of it. So as a result, we had to go back a second time and then get the footage that we wanted for the episode after that. And it was absolutely crazy. And part of me wants it to happen again. I'm back up there. I'm running a public event at the same place at the end of the month. And part of me wants another thunderstorm to come up again, but I don't want it to ruin the night.
No, well,
It was amazing.
I can imagine. I'm going to quickly go into the comments, guys. Here comes my boy. Here he is, my boy. Yay! Right, I'm going to quickly go into the comments. Samantha says, "Low, we're all dicks, mate." That sounded better in my head. I love when you say it, Samantha. You feel like a what? William says, a dick. Samantha says, "Why do I always lose all the comments on feed whenever I come on here? I'm lost." Samantha says, "We are now playing charades with Jenny." William says, "Stop messing with your..." Oh, my guilty conscience, Mr. Surrey. Samantha says, "It came up charades instead of charades." Hi, Amal. Hey, Robert. William says, "Don't worry, guys and ladies in the chat, they will notice us in a mall." Well, you give me a chance, man. Give me a chance. Samantha says, "I don't know if you got my last comment about the full moon as it froze. I came off and lost the comments." Wayne the Werewolf, Noreen says, "I noticed when working in a facility for people with various mental health issues that there was always a huge shift in behaviour when there's a full moon." Do you know what, Noreen? Hold that thought. I'm coming back to you.
There's a reason for that. I know the reason for that.
Just to hold the thought. Samantha says, "If my comment didn't go up, I tend to feel with full moons that emotions are heightened. When you feel in a certain way, it can cause you to feel things that just don't make sense. And you can come out of that full moon and it feels like a version of you was different." Hello, Mr. Bonjour. Bonjour to yourself, Mr. Stevens. Samantha says, "We got great activity that night, but the rain got harsher and harsher and my equipment nearly died because of the rain. Batteries died twice and the SD card went weird. Thank Christ it wasn't as bad as what I thought." Samantha says, "Yeah, that lightning bolt was caught in the camera and you can see it in the bloopers in our episode." Hi, Kate, how you doing? Going back to wee Noreen. Where are you, Noreen? I believe right, here's my theory. And Bill, I bet Bill will counter this. But I have to agree 100% with what Noreen's saying, because we used to say that about when we worked with dementia and Alzheimer's, that if there was a full moon, guaranteed, and I put this theory to the test because I used to work in a severe challenging behaviour unit with dementia and Alzheimer's. Oh my God, please don't break my voice. Don't break. Oh, I do apologise, guys, if my voice goes weird from time to time.
Will it be your turn to be Louis Armstrong?
I would just like to say I did kiss Nick. I didn't catch him there. So what was I saying? I challenge behaviour unit. So challenge behaviour unit. So everything would be calm in a normal day. If there was a full moon, they just started knocking lumps at each other, and it was really, really bizarre. And you could even sense the mood change and the atmosphere, and it's really, really bizarre. And we have a thing in the healthcare sector called sundown.
Yes.
Sundown.
Yeah.
Basically, during the day, a person can be absolutely fine. Well, not fine. They might have their odd sparks to one or two. But as soon as sundown comes, the person just changes and evolves, and they start going over to other people and annoying them, or screaming and shouting, lashing out. And I find it really, really bizarre, like how that happens. It's almost like that's how I describe Leonard's Castle. Oh my God, my voice is breaking.
Have a drink.
It's like Leonard's Castle. So it's basically when you go in there in the daytime, it's like a calm atmosphere. Like you wouldn't, I don't think you would get much for the day.
Yeah.
But as soon as nighttime comes and sundown, then you feel people walking right round about you. Like it's like a total, oh my God. Has MD ever experienced that in an investigation when you go to a place during the day and it's calm and it's dead nice, but then when nighttime comes, it's a totally different ballgame? Has MD ever experienced that in an investigation if they've been to a place at the daytime and the nighttime?
Yeah. I think at nighttime you feel, because it's dark and it's more quiet, that you feel more around you or you hear more around you. Whereas in daytime, you wouldn't really. And apart from the location that I do, the Millmensch Museum, that's active day and night. It never seems to stop. It's always on the go.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, when you're out investigating during the day, your vision is obviously the greatest tool you've got. And at night time, your vision is not your greatest tool. Your sense of hearing and your touch is the greatest senses that are going to be used. So your eyes will go out and see something, and your brain will fill in the blanks. So things like shadows and movement in trees and that, your brain will sort of concoct a possible scenario, and then your brain then thinks about whether that possible scenario is correct or not, and so you investigate it even more. So when you look during the day, you've got one picture. Then you look at night, and it's a completely different picture because the main sense you use has gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think, I love that feeling. Walking into somewhere during the day and going, yeah, this is pretty cool, and then going back at night time and I'm gobsmacked because that's my environment and I love it.
Yeah.
It's different, yeah.
Can I just interject there with the whole thing that Noreen said? So the phrase lunatic, if you split it down, it's lunar
Moon.
Tick. And that's where the phrase comes from, because it was actually documented
Okay.
going way, way back into the mental asylums era, that during the full moon, because we are sort of, is it 73% water, during the full moon, obviously the pull is a lot stronger. You see what the moon does to the oceans. It has very similar effects to us as human beings, because we are predominantly water.
Right.
So what it does is the lunar cycle actually affects it actually affects the brain, because the brain is, predominantly water. And that's where the phrase comes from, lunatic, because during the lunar cycle at a full moon, it used to make people tick. And that's actually where the word comes from. So there's a little bit of knowledge for you.
Yeah, Sam says that
just
about the
not a
brain.
pretty face.
Not
What?
heard of
Right.
that. Thanks.
You're not just a pretty face.
Absolutely not. I've got brains, girl. I've got brains.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Sam in the comments did say that earlier.
Yeah.
But you're a bit slow on the comments, so I thought I'd better remind you.
Right. Right. Well, what I'll do is I'm going to quickly go, because I'm trying to bounce. They're building up like nothing tonight. I think people just want to hear my squeaky voice. William says the moon has a funny effect on the ladies. Well, Samantha says, "Oh, it's good old Nick again." Kate goes, "Pick it on." Nick has returned. Samantha says, Nicholas is definitely low. I'm the same thinking as you. I want my behaviours, yes, they're the worst with the full moon. Samantha says, scientifically, the full moon causes the liquid of the brain to come forward to the front, and this can cause people to lose their minds. More murders and criminal activity happens in the full moon also. You've just gave me an idea for a show, Samantha. I love you. I could kiss you. Gary says, going back to the activity on the weekend in question, I felt something weird after leaving. How do you pronounce that, Richard?
Litchfield.
I felt something weird on getting home, saw a shadow figure at my front door, so I had to do a quick banish prior to entering my house. Richard knows nothing of this. Well, he knows now. Noreen says, full moon time was always hectic. William says, 7 screens, that's crooked record. Gary says, I have. Samantha says, I can sometimes feel like there's someone actually in front of me during the day in certain areas. I've actually bumped into a barrier once that I couldn't see. She fell over. Hey, Gary. William says, not sure what book you got that from, Lal. Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony. That's a friend of mine.
Oh, welcome to the show. Samantha says, pareidolia. You all right, Jenny?
Yes, I'm back
Jenny.
in 2 minutes. Back in 2 minutes.
All right.
Letting the dogs out. Back in 2 minutes.
Okay. Pareidolia night is massive. Noreen says, of course, spell. I didn't connect the dots. Samantha says, full moons cause the water of the brain to pull the front of it. I already wrote that one. See, I'm losing it. Hey, Samantha. Gary says, Samantha says, Gary, that's why I always have. Oh, come on, Samantha, you're killing me.
Dora
On my
light.
position. Otherwise, just thanks for my home. Tony says, I always do a banish chant before I open my front door after an investigation. Hey, Tim. Well, so, answer the question, Tim, Nick, and Richard. Have you guys ever experienced a place for day to night?
Yeah, I've done Hampton Castle, which is in Shropshire way.
Where?
I've been in Shropshire.
No. What castle?
Hopton.
Been there.
I've been in the daytime, and it's great in the daytime. Lovely place, and you do sense activity, but it's not as forward as it is when it gets to about 9:30 at night, and everything just starts happening. You feel like you're being watched from the upper floors that aren't there anymore, but you can see where they would have been. you feel like you're being watched constantly, and your senses are a lot more heightened, like you say, because you took that vision away, and
Yeah.
you've just got your sound and touch. And
Yeah.
I did actually once provoke on a live there because we weren't having much happening, and I was just like, oh, I reckon you're weak and all this, that, and eventually it just, whatever it was, just pushed me straight over, and I was about 6 foot away from where I was standing. I was standing with my legs apart, so I didn't just lose balance. I was actually physically pushed, and you can see it on the live, which is on the page. And yeah, it kind of shook me a little bit. And I was thinking, well, I did provoke, and I just got up and said thank you, but no more. And since then, it's never happened again. But I can't still get the same feelings.
Oh, well. What about you, Tim? What were you saying? Sorry, Tim.
I didn't even know there was a full moon. So I haven't noticed any difference. But I investigate at our local site up in St John's Churchyard. Daytime, it's amazing. You get just as much activity in the day as you do at night, and the senses there are coldness, feelings on your skin more than anything else. You get there is one place where it's really, really, like I was telling you earlier, it's always chilly, it's cold, but it's not an unpleasant feeling.
Yeah.
And there's two ladies there that we chat to regularly, and both Tony, who just came on and talked to us a couple of weeks ago, we went there and got exactly the same as I did the other day with my friend Andy Decodes from Alienate. And so yeah, I enjoyed going up there just as much in the day, and I didn't even know there was a full moon. I don't even follow the moon cycles, so I can't say. I don't know if it has any difference in me or what, you know. So I don't know.
Oh, what about you, Nick?
As far as experiencing a location or activity like from day to night, I mean, I haven't really done that like fully just yet, but the closest I could really think of was a year ago when we went to the Abbey in Canyon City, Colorado, because while we were on the property for a good majority of the time, we didn't really get to have very much time to really check out what the Abbey was like during the day, because that was when it was open, you know, publicly for everyone. So, but we did have a couple minutes of what it was like during the day. See, if nobody was there during the day, I think it would have certainly been a much more different feeling if we just had the entire Abbey to ourselves. But typical of other places, of like many other haunted locations, you know, once after everyone left and it got dark, it was a completely different story, you know, right after when the sun went down.
Ah, that really sounds really interesting. I'm going to go into the comments. Pickle Tom!
Pickle Tom!
Pickle Tom, do you want to come on with your chicken?
Oh my god, that chicken.
Hey, Tony. She says yes. Samantha says, a few months ago on a full moon, I heard tapping on my front door and on the living room windows. I turned on Spirit Talker and something asked to be let in, and that came up 3 times. So there was a no from me. Hey, Tim. Gary says, being a demonologist for the past 26 years, so these things are not a problem anymore, Samantha. Tom says, what is up, my pickle people? Tom, you get your ass on here with your chicken. I nearly said your cock.
You did.
Yes.
Tony said, oh, my guilty conscience. I agree, St. John's is an awesome day and night. Samantha says, Barry, that's all good, mate. I appreciate that you would want to experience everything you could. I just don't enjoy things making me ill, which is what they always choose to do to me. Tony says the Player Abbey is also good for activity day and night. Hey, Paul. Welcome to the show, Paul. God, everybody's in. Gary says, yes, Samantha, I agree. I agree, I don't either, but over the years I got used to it. So, here's a question for everyone, right? It doesn't matter if it's living or dead. If you had to take a celebrity or take MD in the world, it doesn't need to be a celebrity, it could be your favourite author, anything. Who would you take in an investigation and why?
Jason Momoa, because I'd climb that man like a tree.
So you don't want to see my co-host on a Monday then?
Why?
Okay.
Because he's a spitting image of him.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay, I'm now officially busy on a Monday evening.
He got labelled. He got labelled his love child.
Oh God.
Oh, wow.
Josh Myota. He's a spitting image.
Oh, I know Josh. No. For the best will in the world, I don't want to climb Josh like a tree. Jason Momoa is a completely different story. No offense, Josh.
I can't say I would, but you know.
What about you, Jenny? Who would you take and why?
Come back to me. I'm still thinking. Come back to
All
me.
right, Tam, what about yourself? Oh, for God's sake! Yeah, Tim. Who would you take and why?
I like the lady from the Australian lady. What's her name? From I can't remember her name now. Not Kylie. No. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, Wayne, who would you take and why?
Probably just to take the piss out of her, Yvette Fielding.
Oh my God! I knew you were good.
Can we do it?
Just so I can show her after 24 years, you shouldn't still be screaming at the drop of a pin on the floor.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good choice. What about you, Richard? Who would you take and why?
I was going to say Yvette Fielding because it's just be funny. But Ed Warren.
Ed Warren.
Okay.
Excuse me. What about you, Nick?
I would probably take Pickle Tom.
Why not?
Who would they want to take Pickle Tom and his chicken?
I'm gonna say, if you ask why, I think you and I both know the answer to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Who would you take?
In all seriousness, I mean, really, Job's joking, but in all seriousness, as far as who would I want to take on to an investigation? It would probably have to be. Oh man, that's a real tough.
I know.
There's so many out there that I want to investigate with.
Yeah, I must admit, I personally, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of Pickle Tom and his chicken. In all honesty, I would take Dwayne Johnston. That would be my first
Oh
choice.
my goodness, really?
That I need a big strong man to help me over the fences, let me tell you. But in all honesty, I would love, if I had to pick MD, I would pick Shane Pittman. I would love Shane Pittman. Yeah. I absolutely love Shane Pittman. I think he's brilliant.
The thing is, though, is if you were to take Dwayne Johnson on an investigation, there'd be no investigating done.
Well,
you'd find a dark room, all right, but you wouldn't be investigating in it. Well, you might investigate. You'd investigate something, but it won't be for ghosts.
well,
Nailed this, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Just everybody throw you over the fences, mate. You're damn right. He could throw me over the fence, and I would be happy.
I'll take that bacon to prove everything isn't demonic.
He better kick up the first time he says there's a demon here, I'll be kicking him up the backside.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh.
get out. Go on, off
That's
you go.
annoying. That's annoying. A demon. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Do
Everything
you
is
know what?
demons.
I gotta say, can you imagine if you had Dwayne the Rock Johnson there? He would, if he thinks there'd be a demon, he would rip whatever's there apart.
Oh, he would.
Listen, I'm going to go into the comments. Just listening to this for fun, nothing serious, of course, Lil. William, you know Friday night's a fun night. Tony says Amy Winehouse because I think she would have made a brilliant investigator.
Yeah.
I love her voice. I absolutely love her voice. Me, Tim,
Oh,
you'd
would
take
take
me.
Tony, of course.
William
Tony,
says,
yeah.
I bet who? Samantha says Jason Momoa. I met him one time, and man, he's a complete legend. Bill, he's a lovely person. I would say I'd like to have my favourite YouTuber on an investigation does games just because he says what he thinks and loves the paranormal, stays true to things and doesn't fake anything. Gary says, you at Edinburgh Castle for a period of no less than 28 days. As the Warrens proved, there is a cycle of a 28 days to a haunting. So I'd like to us to test it out. And besides, I believe it's local to you. Yeah, it is. It's actually, from me personally, it's about 2 hours. About an hour and a half, 2 hours away is Edinburgh.
We'll do it in an hour.
Aye. Oh, you foot to the gas. Tony says, I bet Fielding love it. I'd love to show her how a real investigators do it. Where's Samantha? Right, Tim and Jen, come on, spill the beans. Who would you take with you?
The only person that's sitting in my head because my brain won't even function. I can't go by. I have no other names in my head but this person, Robin
that
Williams.
accent.
Robin Williams.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
do you know that guy? That guy is a bloody legend. And do you know what? Do you know what I heard recently? Just going a bit off topic, but this is the point of this show. It goes off topic. Know what I heard recently that really I felt sad and I was a wee bit upset about it was they were talking about redoing Mrs. Doubtfire,
Okay.
like remaking it, and I just thought, please don't, please don't.
No.
They were making a movie on his life, and the guy who is playing him is his twin. Everything he does, his accent, his, the way he moves himself, it's like a young Robin Williams.
He's on TikTok, isn't he? I'm sure I've
Yeah.
seen him on TikTok.
I think
Yeah,
he is.
he's done quite a lot on TikTok lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does. He looks like him. He sounds like him. His character is everything is like him. I think he's fabulous. I think I went to see one of his movies, What Dreams May Come. Let me tell you, I was almost carried out in a stretcher. I couldn't breathe after it. It was so upsetting. Very, very upsetting. Yeah.
That's
Great
really
movie.
upsetting. Yeah. Tim, come on, spill the beans. Apart from Jenny, because you love Jenny because of her accent.
Sing a song.
Oh, I don't know. No. Pass.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Oh, God love it. Samantha says that wasn't a demon, it was just Kevin Hart. Gary says, what you mean, Richard? It's all demonic, laughing myself. William says, no one I've seen so far in the Ghosty Land is that serious or know what they're doing. Tony laughing. Hey, Pamela.
Pamela.
Samantha says, that's a good choice of Robin Williams. Liz Millen says, hi, Jenny. Hi, Liz. Samantha says, you can't redo Mrs. Doubtfire. It's a kind of film whereby you forget that Robin Williams isn't your nan. And I don't know what Liz is saying because it's all blank. But
put smiley faces on it, or sometimes
or something.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you
one's a
definitely.
thumbs up and one's a thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, love. Here's the thing: stay with old films like Mrs. Doubtfire, Roadhouse. You can't redo them. You can't because it's just. you look at these films. Do you know what? There's many films I like out there, and I've seen remakes, and I'm just not keen on them. I've not even
No.
watched Roadhouse. I don't even want to watch it.
I enjoyed the new version of Roadhouse. I also enjoyed the
did you?
original. It was quite good.
Good night,
I just-
Nicola.
Oh, good night, Nicola.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
you.
No,
Bye.
Nicola.
Here's
about
the thing.
Oh.
Sorry, on you go, my love.
What about The Crow? There's a new film of The Crow, isn't there?
I've heard of
There
that.
is. It's never going to beat it. Never
No.
going to beat the
I think we
original.
were actually talking about that recently on our most recent episode of Fear Fans, and a lot of people. Well, Don, I think, even said the same thing, that it's not going to beat the original Crow.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried the second Crow film, didn't they? And it flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're never going to beat the original one with Brandon in it. There's no way.
I watched it the other day. I tried to leave it about 4 or 5 years in between watching it, and I love it so much. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah.
The thing is, though,
here's
I
a
think,
bit.
like, with the Crow and stuff, because you've got the tragedy of obviously what happened to him.
Well,
when you watch it,
you're stealing my thunder. You're stealing my thunder because this is where I'm heading.
Hush up, you. But it's save your voice low. It's fine. I get you. But yeah, like, because you're watching it and you know what happened to him. It's not just, you're not just watching a film. You're actually watching an actor in the last role that he had.
Yeah.
And it just hits home so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, there was a TikTok the other day came up about John Candy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were actually saying about the last film he did, Wagons West.
Mm.
And he just went back to his trailer at the end of the night. He called his kids and wished them a good night and whatnot and everything else. He went to sleep and had a heart attack in his sleep and died.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I'm just thinking, Christ, I remember all that.
Mm.
Here's
And then
a
me
question
and my
for you.
partner just started talking about all the films that he was in and ones that stuck out, like Uncle Buck,
Cool Runnings.
Spaceballs.
Oh, Uncle Buck.
You know,
Uncle Buck's brilliant.
I love Cool Runnings.
Here's a question for you. Do you think the spirits of the film stars who have died on set wander there?
Ooh.
Possibility.
I think they could.
I think they probably pay visits every now and then.
Yeah.
it's possible. If they haven't moved on, I don't see why not.
Every
So,
single-
there's always something that wanders the stage, isn't there?
right. Yeah.
All right.
And if it's
Yeah.
unexpected
Phantom
death. that I think
Phantom
you're
of the Opera is a good case, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sets of Phantom are it's
Yeah.
steeped in tragedy, isn't it? Every time
The
it's in a
Phantom,
theatre,
yeah.
something happens to that theatre, which is why it was pulled off Broadway for quite a long time, and now it's only recently come back.
Mm.
So,
And you got the Drury Lane Theatre in London as well.
mm.
Yeah.
And the spirit in there is quite nasty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2 minutes, guys. I'll be back.
After hours,
Symbolic,
he's seen running about and causing chaos and scaring the security guards and that. So it's people tend to because that's the theatre where Miss Saigon had been for so many years, and sort of like when the cleaners are going in, they keep seeing this black shadow running about in between all the stalls and that, and it's not a nice feeling in there. I just walk past it and the alarm bells ring, just walking past it.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. For me, it doesn't bother me. But when you're with a group of people
Right.
that aren't into that sort of thing, and I've got to sit there and I've got to keep my gob shut. There's an energy in here. I can feel it, and I know the history of the place, and I know what's there. So I have to keep my gob shut, not to scare everybody else.
Oh, no. I'd just say it.
But say it as you see it. Right, guys, I'm just going to go into the chat. Samantha says Jake isn't Patrick though.
Yeah,
Night, Nicola. Tony says I wouldn't mind going with. I'll fight you, Tony. I'll have to run with you.
Names, yes.
Going
that
with
man is beautiful.
Dwayne Johnson,
Tony,
Vin
Tony
Diesel.
would like to
Tony, what are you
investigate.
saying?
Tony's just said she'd like to investigate with Jesus Christ as well.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
good
I would
choice.
do
Oh, wow.
investigate.
Oh, she
Yeah.
wouldn't be investigating ghosts with Jesus. Oh, my days.
Exactly. Let's say I
I
like
think
the two
called him out
movies.
enough times.
What are you saying? Sorry, love.
Sorry, I said I think we called him out enough times in investigations. Jesus!
Of course. I like the true movie crime paranormal one. Samantha says, no, Tim the Crow, the U actor looks like an emo that's been rained on for too many years, so he'll get a hold of his bum's eyeliner and bin liners. It just makes me want to cry. Gary says, who? Patrick, Samantha, I'm too young to remember him. Liz says, I've true paranormal movies. It tells you the true movie at the start. Tony says, same with Paul Walker, Fast and Furious. I love Paul Walker. Samantha says, once a goth, forever a goth. And sadly,
Yeah, I love
Bill
goths.
is in the Crow. Patrick says, Patrick. Pamela says, I adore John Candy. Poor Pamela, sorry, honey. William says, to be honest, as somebody with a much deeper understanding of the spiritual, I wouldn't go with anyone unless we were very close friends. Samantha says, lol, Gary, I wish I could spell Patrick's lady name. Liz says, I like that guy, John Candy, done one with Steve Martin. It was so funny.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I love that film. Tony says, Patrick Swayze. Gary says, what about Lassie, or should I say the spirit of the original dog that played Lassie?
That wouldn't be any good, because you go on an investigation with Lassie and you'll be going, he's down the well.
Yeah, what's that?
Down the well.
Let's see.
Skippy would be better. Skippy.
I was going to say Skippy the kangaroo.
Yeah.
What's that?
Where's the body? Where's the body? It's hanging off a cliff.
Shit, Skippy, you got your tail caught in the barbecue.
Roman Reigns is Tony's.
No. I'll fight you for him, Tony. I'll fight you for him.
Samantha's got a question, right? Question for the group here tonight. What do you think towards movie curses? I'm going to answer that one. I actually believe in it because you just can't say that when things happen on movie sets, it just happens to be coincidental. That how can many people, say 5 people, right? I'm filming a film. See, tonight, I don't know what it is. My speech is dead blurred. I do apologise. I've not been drinking, so I don't drink, so it's funny. That's what makes it even funnier. So I film a film in the Waverley. I'm going to use the Waverley Sanatorium as an example, right? So I'm going to pick 5 folks. So Nick, Rich, Wayne, Tim, and Jenny. And I'll just add Belle because Belle will greet at me if she fell out, right? So 6 people, right? So the 6 of you are filming in there. So Nick falls off a ladder and gets a broken leg. Rich tripped up and breaks his arm. Wayne crashes his car on the way in. Tim falls down the stairs. Belle falls out the window. And Jen, she's like running away from something. You're running away from something and you trip and you fall. If that happens all on the set, that's not just bad luck. That's coincidental.
Having a gin and tonic, no?
What?
You all have your bad stuff happening, and I'll be in the corner with my gin and tonic.
Oh my love. I'll be in the bloody corner with the gin and tonic. That just doesn't happen, guys, by coincidental. It's not just like, oh, it's just a bad day or it's an unlucky day. You've got to think outside the box. What has actually caused all this? So, yeah, I do believe that there has been movie curses. I really, really do.
Well, you look
What
at
about you,
like,
the rest of you guys?
The Omen and stuff like that. There's a lot of the older movies. Like you've got The Exorcist, you've got the Omen movies, even The Conjuring, the very first Conjuring.
Yep.
There was a lot of stuff that was happening
And
on the
poltergeist.
sets, and it happened to not just the cast, but it happened to the crew that were there. Even stuff actually happening within the buildings themselves, like catching fire and that kind of thing.
Right.
But there's got to be something to it when you're doing that kind of when you're creating that kind of movie, you're putting a lot of energy and intent into it, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're building something up. It's like Poltergeist as well, that little girl.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Passed away.
Definitely. I'm
It's
just going to
weird you
quickly say
say
hi,
poltergeist.
Terry. Hi, Terry.
It's weird that you mentioned poltergeist, though, Jenny, because I was watching a little thing about it the other day,
Yeah.
and obviously not only did weird stuff happen on set, but it wasn't until recently that I found out they'd actually used real bodies for the
Yeah.
pool scene.
That's
And that's
correct.
why
They
she
used
was
real
she
bodies.
was-
They were cheaper than the fake skeletons.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
when her reaction was a real reaction, because they didn't tell her they were real skeletons,
Yeah.
real bodies, you know. Which
So,
is fun.
I mean, but you think if you've used, say, for instance, 10 real bodies, they've taken these real bodies from somewhere and
Yeah.
stuck them on a movie set. If I was the spirit of one of those bodies, I'd be a bit pissed that they dragged me and put me in the start of a building of a pool to be used on a film set. I wouldn't be happy. So
No.
I'd be walking around trying to get my own back on whoever it was that used my body.
Yeah.
I-
I would,
Put it back.
I would definitely be. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, God, bloody hell, yeah, you'd be right, man, wouldn't you?
What's
So,
your
yeah.
thoughts? What about you, Nick? You're sitting there off a quiet, so I'm going to pick a Nick. Right, Nick, I'm picking you.
I would have to basically be with a lot of what everyone has said about these movies as far as curses are concerned.
Yeah.
I honestly, of course, undoubtedly, and it's already been mentioned before, but I think the most notorious of these movies with the curses is undoubtedly The Exorcist. And, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not, and you know, I did a Nick Files episode on not only just the movie, but of course the real case itself. And you know, most people don't seem to know this. That supposed curse that was associated with The Exorcist wasn't just for people who worked on it in the studio, and it wasn't just the cast and crew. There was this legend that went on that anybody who saw this film would be cursed, almost as close as you can get, probably as close as you can ever get to like the Ring video, if you will. You know, 7 days you die. This is probably as close, because there were a lot of things that happened when that movie came out in theaters. Like a couple of examples, there was like a major riot that occurred in one city, and then there in another city, actually out in the UK, as a matter of fact, while the movie was playing in one of the theaters, a bolt of lightning struck the top of a tower of a church just across the street.
Yeah. Well, when it was actually airing in the UK, they actually used to have, so in the cinemas when it was actually showing, they would have St John Ambulance and Red Cross posted inside the cinemas, because my mum, she used to be part of St John Ambulance, and she used to actually have to go to the cinema because people were fainting, they were vomiting, because it was the most real thing that anybody had ever seen before, and it was so terrifying and so scary. But yeah, you would literally have priests and vicars stood outside that would bless you as you walked out, because genuinely people thought that by watching the film you could actually take the evil that was in the film home with you. It was absolutely groundbreaking for its time, wasn't it? So
Yeah, it was.
How daft is it though, right? And just interjecting in what you're saying. So how daft is that, right? Again, I don't know about people's opinions in this. This is just my own, but I think it's the power of suggestion. So people went in with the mentality, they've read it and they've read what it's about. They've went in and they've been like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," they're I'm going to get possessed. Now you can't possibly ever get possessed by a cinema screen. That is like me going in and watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and believing that when I go home, Leatherface has got to be sitting on my couch waiting for me with a chainsaw. It's like literally, and it is. It's just maybe I'm cynical, and I hope I'm not offending anyone because I don't like offending anyone at all. But I do. Some people I like to wind up to hell, but well, but it's like it's crazy the amount of people that must have been going in that cinema. Now, why the hell would you go and watch a movie? Right, this is I'm going to flip the coin. Why the hell would you go and watch a movie if you really, really, hand in heart, believed you were going to get possessed? Why would you then go and watch a movie?
Just for the experience.
But bring it up to modern day, right? Bring it up to modern day with what we see on TikTok. The amount of videos that I see coming up on my feed on TikTok, and it's, oh, you've come across this video, you're now cursed, get in touch with me to release this curse. And everybody in the comments is going, I do not claim this evil, I do not claim this evil, Jesus is with me and all this. I'm like, you're watching a video on TikTok. But again, it's the power of persuasion. Because you look at Slenderman, and this is sort of delving into the crime part now, but you look at Slenderman, the legend of Slenderman, those two, I think it was two girls that actually went out and killed another girl. And
no, they didn't kill her. They almost killed her, but
Yeah, and it's the power of suggestion, and it's a really, really dangerous thing. And when you've got untapped apps like TikTok, and unfortunately, you know, the current mentality of people at the moment, particularly the younger generation, they are very, very easily swayed. You could have a repeat of that and just take The Exorcist away, and it's something that you see on TikTok, and it can cause absolute pandemonium.
That's another thing that drives me insane is when you see a lot of these groups that I'm in, right? And it drives, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm in quite a few groups. Now, these are groups that are, like, honestly filled with maybe 20, 30, 40k, right? I've been in one group where it's been 70k, and it was just mental, some of the statuses. I've got a hex, I've got a curse, there's a demon in my house, and it's just like, I use all shitting me. I use actually shitting me here. At the end of the day, see if you want to see a demon, see me and Jenny together. You've got the Scottish and the Irish demon. If you want to see a demon, and
big demon.
Oh, you're my wee Irish demon, you wee cutie pie.
Would this face look like a demon? Would I do anything bad?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Princess. Would you?
No.
Only behind closed doors.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fingers crossed, I won't do anything wrong.
Never. I tell you, I have to say, there was. I'm not going to give names or what. Well, two people have upset me really bad and said bad things to me and did bad things to me. And one of them said to me, and I'm going to say what he said to me, and he goes, Jenny, he said, I was a rotten person. Now, this is going back in the day, and he was angry over something, and I don't know what it was, but I do, but it was very unnecessary. He goes, Jenny, I hope you're burnt and rot in hell. And I'm now shouting, is it hot down there?
Yes.
Because he's gone.
Do you know what? I love when people slag the life at me, right? They tell me that I'm an arse and all that, and how bad I am, and they say that how, like, go to hell. I love that famous saying, go to hell, and I'm like, listen, Satan's just warming my seat up, because when I get my ass down in that throne, I'll be burning your ass. But and it's just like,
if Lucifer's down there, I'm going down. If Lucifer, do you ever watch Lucifer?
Oh my god,
Yes.
yes, Tom
I
Ellis.
never watched that, but my mom did, though, on the other
If
hand.
he's there, I'm going.
Me too. We'll take the minibus.
Oi.
We'll take the minibus.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
And
turn
Tim-
around and say I just turn around and say I've been there, but it's not hot enough.
Right, exactly. Here's the thing, right? I'm quite open about this, right? I don't believe in heaven or hell at all. I really, really don't. I think it's just universes. I always think it. I always think it's Stargate and all the different parallel universes. I don't believe in the whole you're going to heaven, you're going to hell. To be honest with you, I don't know why I don't believe, because at the end of the day, you know, I just don't buy it. I really just don't buy it. I think it's a whole tack
I
to
think
scaring people.
if you look at it, there is probably more evidence of parallel universes or other realms.
Uh-huh.
You know, in dimensions, there's probably more evidence of that than there is of a heaven and a hell.
Yep, definitely. I would totally agree. Right, quickly go into the comments. Tony says Tim is accident prone now, to make sure we have a first aid kit on our investigations, just in case he's a nightmare. Tony says
Yeah.
sorry, didn't mean to do caps. Sam says I watched the dark side of the show Glee and the amount of deaths and people in the crew and the crazy unexplained death that happened to the actors. It's just not normal. Two were by suicide, but only hours before these people we actually said to be completely fine. All but one who was convicted as a criminal, but again, holy crap, the actor who was played a character that speaks too close to how he is in reality. Hey Cal, things of my suit. I'm
Hey,
not
mate.
saying it because the last time I said it sounded like weirdness. Gary, just a little snippet into demonology training. They actually use the film Poltergeist as a case study. Samantha says, I mean, talking about disrespectful Wayne regarding the use of bodies on the movie. Liz says, yeah, the movies are all true. It can happen in real life investigations. Sam says, look at both Brandon and Bruce Lee. I mean, that would be more of a family curse. Sam, I'm coming back to you. Superman as well, you playing as an invisible hero, and then a few of the people almost died. Noreen said, I remember St. John's ambulance being outside the cinema.
They
Liz
were,
said,
yeah.
because you never know what you're going into the buildings. I do a lot of protection for me and my group before I go in. When I come out, prayer too. Noreen said the hype prior to the showing of the film whipped up a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Gary says, trust me, it's no fun being possessed. I've dealt with both sides of it. I'm going to come back to Gary as well. Samantha says, if you think you're going to be cursed or possessed, you wouldn't go, would you? They're all feeling what if, and the whole idea of it's creepy and scary and cool. People are obsessed with that feeling and the dangers of it. Liz says, but it's different with UFOs. I believe that too. I'm a big believer in UFOs. Samantha says, Gary, they're having a conversation. Tony says, big up Island. Gary says, the feeling of being possessed via the silver screen is just adrenaline and psychological, nothing more but are profitable for some. Hi, lady, miss. Oh, hi, Donna. I didn't even realise you're in the chat. I only ever been present at one thing whereby someone who had had their curse lifted. I wouldn't say anything much more about it other than honestly the house all around us made me aware of what happened that night, and it's the last thing I will ever do, that kind of thing. I'm not here for that being my job. I'm going to go back to... I'll start with Gary. Gary, when he was talking obviously about possession. Now, I'm skeptical on possession. I don't know if it's because it's never happened. It's never happened to me, so I can't say how it feels like. But I'm very, very. This is the problem. You get movies like The Exodus. You've got. Do you know? There's a good few others out there. out there that do possession. And
Yeah.
I'm very, very sceptical because of how they make it look in movies. And it's
Yeah.
and please don't be offended. Oh, there he is. Hi, Gary. Welcome
Hi,
to the show.
Hi.
Obviously, you do demonology, and I'm very interested in the subject. The problem with you that I feel like you guys have, though, is you've got movies, you've got TV shows, you've got even social media and things like that, where the people it says demon, 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 demon. Everything's a freaking demon. How
Yeah.
do you know it's not just a pissed off energy that's fed
Right.
up, who's having a bad day like the rest is? You know, how do you know it's do you know where I'm going, Gary? The fact that how these things, like what you see,
Yeah.
makes it all look so fake, it's unreal.
Yeah, that is the big trouble with all Hollywood movies and things like that. They go way, way, way over the top with the makeup and everything else. It's absolutely, I wouldn't say nothing like that, because some of the events, that they pick up on are actually what happens. With the black eyes and all the rest of it, that's a little bit over the top. Because more often than not, all you'll find is that the eyes will roll into the back of the head. But you've got to be extremely careful before you announce anything to be demonic. Because even going back to what we were saying about Zach Baggins, everything to him is demonic, which is a load of crap. Pardon the French and all that, but it is a load of crap.
You're on Fools and Ghouls to say it as you see it.
That's it, exactly. At the end of the day, you've got to be extremely careful before you announce anything to be a demonic possession or haunt. Because during my 26 years of doing this, there's probably no more than half a dozen cases, if that actually turned out to be demonic. Personally, I went into a case when I was just announced as an ordained demonologist. Thought I was big and brave and bold and all the rest of it. Come into a haunt, and I was actually thrown by a demon around about 40 to 50 feet across the length of the room.
Wow.
And that caused me a lot of physical pain, and it still does now today. That demon announced itself as Beelzebub after a lot of questioning and testing and all sorts of other different bits and pieces that we went through, because there was not just myself, but a cardinal present at the same time. The child was only 7 years of age that threw me. So if anybody can explain how a 7-year-old kid can throw a 21-year-old bloke that's just come out of the army.
Well, funny you should say that, Gary, because next week, guys, we have Ben and Louisa Winfield on. And I'm excited about this one. And Ben is a very, very, very knowledgeable guy in demonology, and he's been to the Vatican and everything. So that'll be an interesting show, Gary. You should really plug in and listen to them. They are very interesting people. You will find them on a Facebook group called The Other Dimension. And they are the most amazing pair I've ever listened to, and just sitting and talking and things like that. And they're just like us. They just sit away and blather about all the different types, and it's brilliant. So Gary, definitely check out. And we really should get you and Richard on a show together, because I know you guys are in a team as well.
That's right, yeah. We're both members of Dutch Courage.
Are you, excuse me, Mr. Richard, are you giving me the fingers? Because I give them back.
doing that. But there we go.
So 3 times.
Oh, 3 times when you
That's-
gave me the fingers.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's not
3 times
sticking
for
his
you.
fingers up. He's just saying 3 times.
Yeah, you know what, Richard's like, you just got to read between the lines.
I can't count. All right.
I'm trying to cure my bad behaviour on the camera. Samantha, now going on to Samantha. What about the curse of the Lee family? What do you guys think about that?
Oh,
There's different theories. It's not just a family curse. The family curse was was used as part of Chinese mythology. That at a certain age, the person in question would be tested at the peak of their physical fitness or the peak of their career, which then was portrayed in the film Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Mm-hmm.
So that was then, obviously, when Bruce Lee died, that was him failing that test at the peak of his career.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, when Brandon died, he mysteriously died supposedly at the same age during a stunt where he was the car was supposed to blow up. His body, everybody hit the deck when the explosion happened. Brandon didn't get up. Then the rumours circulated that there was a bullet in his chest.
Just wants to get into
But either way, end result was he was unalived. So everybody went down the road that he died at the same age. It was the family curse of the Lee family.
Yep.
However, there was also another rumor that went around was that Bruce Lee was found something to do with the triads.
Yeah,
And
I've heard
that was what killed him, was an overdose, because he was at his physical peak.
Mm-hmm.
The overdose, or the drugs that were given to him, caused him to overdose, and that's what killed him. And Brandon Lee found out who was responsible for killing his father, and that's why he was taken out during the shot of the crow.
Ah,
Oh my
Nick,
God.
you've been awful quiet because I'm going to pick on you again because you're just sitting there. Right, so come on, Nicholas, get your theories out here, and don't you kid on you don't know nothing.
He's sitting there going, "I don't know nothing.
Me know nothing. Me don't want to talk.
Yes, you're right. I don't know nothing.
I bet you see if I said corn or gorilla glue.
Oh God, it's been a while since we brought that up.
I know.
Well, since I'm there, right, Nick, what's your theories, my love?
Oh man,
I love catching you off guard. It makes my night.
no, I've actually been still thinking about what my own theories would be as well. It's kind of a little bit of a more difficult question for my part. So I may have to get back to you on that one, actually, because
Oh my God! I like catching you so off guard tonight. I'm going.
Catching everyone out.
It's
Catching
like-
everyone out.
necessarily you caught me off guard. It's just I need a little bit more time to think about it.
Yeah,
Right,
me
well,
too. I need more time as well.
You do.
Yeah.
Wake up! Everybody, bloody wake up! We're on alive. Right.
No, I need more time to think about it.
Well, the other problem too is my cat wanted to make an appearance on the show, so she got me distracted.
Oh.
I'm not sure about demons. You know, it's
No.
a Christian thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's more like bad
Sorry, Lori.
spirits, bad spirits, like bad people, like there is on Earth. Yeah, I don't like the word demons myself, to be
It's like
honest.
a man-made fear. It's religion-made fear.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you
what it
know,
was. That's what religion was invented for, to keep people under control.
I think so.
And demons came out for that, didn't they? There was demons, and you got to be good, else you'd go to hell and burn. And it was just a control thing. So I'm not sure about demons, to be honest. I think it's just when you go on an investigation, if you were to get thrown about or whatever, it's not because it's a demon. It's just because it's not a very nice person. Or
have you ever smelled sulfur on investigations?
Pardon?
Have you ever, any of you ever smelled sulfur?
Yes.
Yeah.
Twice. Me too, twice.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in Shane's Castle in the north of Ireland, and I investigated that place for 7 years, 8 years, non-stop. And it was every month consecutively for like 7 or 8 years. And I remember we did a reenactment, and I said to Jen, you know, you call out, you have to provoke. And I was reasonably new on this team, and I was like, oh my God, no. I definitely got into it, though. I got into it after a while, because it's all like, you know, men I was given out to. So I really took the role very well. And I said, you know, we're giving you this guy, you know, you want him all the time, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, the night went on. At the end of the night, I was told, Jen, take the team down to where we had done the reenactment. So we walked in, and we were hit, or I was hit with this smell of sulfur. It burned the nostrils. It burned your throat. The smell was surrounding. It was the most powerfulest thing I've ever smelled. And then I remember saying, right, we're going to continue going in. And one of the girls said, no, we shouldn't. And I'm like, yes, we are. Anyway, we changed our minds when we were leaving. And I said, I don't know why we're leaving if they know we're here. And within 10, 15 seconds later, it was as if someone ran through me, where it was like the Matrix. I felt like my head was going backwards slowly, and I couldn't hear anything.
Yep.
And then I said, I'd never, ever, ever want to smell that again. Lo and behold, in February gone, we were down in Leap Castle, and we were up in the bloody chapel, and we had a guy over from Washington, and I said, so what do you think of Leap Castle? You know, he goes, yeah, it's okay. And I said, well, one particular room is more active. The bloody chapel can be active, but, you know, it can be quiet too. It's normal. Yeah. And then again, after like 2 or 3 minutes, I grabbed his arm. God bless him. He was so small, I could pick him up and put him around, you know. And I grabbed his arm, and within seconds, I could taste sulfur. And I knew immediately. Oh my God. I knew immediately what it was, that it's happening again. Because I always said I never wanted it to happen, but it was beginning to happen again. I went downstairs. You could smell burning, and I was convinced my coat was burning. And we all went downstairs. Paul Louise was walking up with all the equipment. We're all running down spiral stairs. They all went up, and I sat down at the fire by myself. They did ask, could I go back up? And whatever on the spirit box, something like that, said no. So I stayed down. I only went up to the banquet room or on the first floor, but I never went back to the bloody chapel. We are back, I think, this year, or we will be back in March. But we're going to try and get back in before Christmas. We could. It's just kind of getting the group together and whatnot. But
we need a road trip.
Come over. I have a few people coming over in March. If that still goes ahead, I don't know. But anytime anybody wants to come over, I can organise it so easily.
So well, Jenny, don't you worry. I'm coming in beside you. Right? So don't you worry. I'm coming for you, Carol.
I'll put you into the best rooms.
Oh, thank you very much. Make sure, right, I always say this in investigations, right, when I used to go to investigations and we were doing hotels, put me in a room where there's a jacuzzi so I can lie in the jacuzzi and do investigations that way. I'll remote do it.
There's no jacuzzi.
Enjoying yourself.
Oh,
what? Noreen says, I think a lot of what people call demons are just shitty people and spirits. Yeah. Tony says, I've had a spirit try to take over my body, not a horrible one. I was a 16-year-old boy. I could see everything, but I felt like I was looking through somebody else's eyes. It was weird. Samantha's having a conversation. Hi all, Gary, just sting me. Donna says, hello, beautiful Jenny Sullivan. Hello, Nick, Billy, rest of the panel. Hey! Samantha, you're making me work tonight. It's not a possession, but I have a question for you guys. Years back now, I used to get moments where I'd black out. I would still be walking around talking, but I don't remember anything that happened. And I thought I was losing my mind, but my husband saw something in the mirror coming out of the back. and up towards the ceiling and was looking at him. And that's the night when we talked to Peter, mate. Samantha, right, give me a minute, Samantha, and I'll come back to you, honey. Tony said, I think they're actually fallen angels and people that are not nice on the earth, rather plain than demons. Samantha says, I forgot the question I wanted to ask you, a silly goose. So, guys, what's your thoughts on attachments? Attachments, and I'll have a wee think of that one, but I'm going to pick Nick again. Nick,
Oh,
what do
God.
you think?
What was the question?
Straight in
The-
for the
the
dip
que-
there.
The question was, what's your thoughts on attachments?
I could definitely give my opinion on that. I'm certainly not frequently, but I at least on one or two occasions I've had at least two attachments. One was kind of more of a visit more than anything else, actually, but the other one I had serious problems with. It actually took quite the amount to get rid of this attachment. So, and it was not good either. So I definitely have had my I've had a share or two of attachments.
What about you, Big Gabella?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people that have had genuine attachments. I've seen a lot of people that have faked attachments. Me myself, it's only ever happened to me once and it was a place in Hinckley that it happened. If anybody's local to the area, they're going to know exactly what when I say Hinckley. And I obviously, doing my development circle and my mediumship and all this, I got a little bit cocky. I thought I was a little bit invincible, and it happened less than 12 months ago. And yeah, I basically went in there and immediately I felt something very, very strong. I had to leave within about half an hour. And I think I've said this to you guys, like some of you guys before. But I was actually walking down the road to my car and I was staggering like I'd had an absolute skinful. No, I don't drink, I'm teetotal. Obviously I know what it feels like, but I had to sit in my car and I did a lot of protection. And even when I was in there, I was trying to get my guides to take whatever it was away from me, whatever it was. And yeah, that genuinely, that scared me, and I didn't actually go out investigating for 6 months because I didn't want to chance it again. But yeah, going on a lot of public events and things like that, you see a lot of people that have an attachment and they don't. It's because it's a quiet night and they want a bit of drama. And then one person says, "Oh, I've got an attachment," and then they all seem to follow suit. It's like a mob mentality. So,
yeah.
What about you? What about you, Aldo?
Who?
Oh, the alien.
hello.
Oh, hello. Do you know what? There's nothing worse than putting an attachment on an email and it don't go through. I hate it.
I'll tell you what's worse, when you put the wrong picture on an attachment in the email. Really, you shouldn't do that stuff. You imagine you scarred them for life.
You could be into a lot of trouble.
I think what they call it these days is indecent exposure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did 6 months for that. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, like Bill says, you know, you get all these people that claim that they've something has attached themselves to them because they feel they've had a crap night. So they thought, oh, well, if I do this, you know, it might gear things up a little bit. It's the same as people that deliberately fake the Ouija board, you know, and they stand there and they put their finger and then they push it. The amount of times I've caught people out just by doing a simple test, and they've literally been moving the planchette themselves.
Mhm.
And then as soon as you turn around to them and say, right, I want you to ask a question, and when the planchette starts moving, I want one person at a time to take the finger off the planchette, one after the other, lift it off for a second and then put it back on again. And as soon as it gets round to the person you suspect, they lift their finger up and the planchette stops.
Yeah.
So there are times there when people do it on purpose to make it look more authentic, and I've kicked people out for doing such things like that. So,
Yeah.
but then you do get the genuine people, and that's why a lot of groups now, they do a spell of protection when they start, especially with a public investigation, they do the spell of protection and the old white light and all that. Me, I personally, I don't have it. I won't do it. And I just say to them when I first get there, if you're going to do a spell of protection, do you mind if I stay out of it and come away? Because I've got my own protection with me.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they're happy with it.
A lot of the
I
time,
don't
it's
believe-
power of suggestion, though, isn't it, Wayne? Like when they're doing these white light protection things, it's the power of suggestion.
Yeah. If you go into it feeling you're not going to have anything attached to you, your confidence is at a height. You're going to walk around feeling like $1 million because you've had this spell of protection, so nothing's going to attach itself to you.
Yeah.
But then you look at other people that haven't had that spell of protection, and you automatically thinking if it's going to attach to anybody, it'll attach itself to them. But
Yep.
I can remember a certain person from a very big TV show used to say to people on their guests that go to their events that nothing will follow you home because otherwise nowhere would be haunted.
That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts.
To be honest, I can partly see the reasoning behind what he said.
Is it KB?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to. He would say it at the beginning of every public event that don't worry about it. Nothing will follow you home because otherwise nowhere would be haunted. And I'll be pissing myself laughing because I'll be sitting there thinking to myself, well, of course it won't, because you've all got the spell of protection.
Oh, yeah.
And one reason why I never took the spell of protection was because if I wanted to experience something, I felt that having the spell of protection would stop me from either seeing, hearing, or experiencing what the spirit could do.
Yeah.
I have a spirit that's attached to me. I know for a fact because I've had a spirit medium confirmed with me back in 2002, I think it was. And the only reason why the spirit is attached to me is because I'm her dead husband.
Oh, wow.
I died on the beaches of Dunkirk during the evacuation. She died 2 years later, and she'd been at the first house I moved into. She was there waiting for me.
Oh,
And
that's
things-
nuts.
Lord.
Weird stuff was going on in the house. I had lodgers move in and they experienced things and they moved out. And in the end, I'd spoken to an ex-girlfriend's mum who had been to a medium that lived about 20 miles away from me. And she met up with us, didn't give her my full name, didn't give her my address, so she couldn't research anything. Within 5 minutes walking through the door, she had her name, which I already knew her first name, but I didn't know her second. She then explained to me that I had joined the British Expeditionary Force and I was caught in the fighting over in Dunkirk beaches on the evacuation, and I never made it back.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
She lived there with her husband. Her mum and dad lived 2 doors down, and I went to the house 2 doors down and asked if they had anything odd happen in their house, and they said, yeah, we have things like keys moved from the front door to the back door even when no one's in. And they've caught it on their little cameras that they have indoors in the house, little security cameras. And I then checked with the Hall of Records in Chelmsford, and it turned out that Joanne and Michael Bloomfield lived in that house until he joined the British Expeditionary Force. And he
Oh my
never
God,
came.
that's amazing.
But every time I've moved house, she's moved with us.
I'm with you.
And I know when she's going to be about, because I get really abnormal headaches, which I don't normally get. And we actually went out on, we were filming for Truth Beyond Paranormal again. Sam will remember this. We went to Kelvin and Hatch nuclear bunker, and we'd actually communicated with a corporal that was having an affair with a nurse. And he'd made the decision not to go with this nurse. He wanted to stay with his wife and his children, and the nurse didn't like it. So while he was in the infirmary, she smacked him over the head with a bedpan and threw him down the stairwell.
Wow.
To make it look like he committed suicide. And while we were in the medical centre, we could all smell TCP. The old disinfectant.
I love that smell of TCP.
It was really, really strong. The second you walked in there, you could smell it. Now, the owner claims they don't use disinfectant or TCP in there, yet the smell is always there.
Yeah.
And as we're trying to communicate with any spirits that were in there, my partner Ellen started feeling weight on her right shoulder, and it was pushing down, and it got really uncomfortable. And out of nowhere, I just turned around and said, "Joanne, can you come in and remove this energy from the atmosphere, please?" And within 5 or 6 seconds, Ellen's shoulder came back up again, and she stood up and she went, "Oh my word!" She said, "That was almost painful," and the smell of TCP just went, just gone.
Oh my God!
Do you know?
And all nine of us could tell that smell of TCP had gone.
Right.
Jesus
did
Christ,
believe
that
that.
made no.
Do you ever think?
Well, but-
sorry, Lo. Do you ever
Sorry,
think
Jen.
sorry, girlie. Do you ever think when they're trying to get your attention, they will give you that smell? I remember
Yep.
doing a cafe up in Dublin, and I was kind of like, it was November time, and I was like, I was about a year into it, something like that. And so we were sitting in the cafe at the back alley of a place in Dublin. And so we're sitting on this round table. So you have the founder, you have the manager, you have her partner. No, you have the partner, the manager, the woman, me. And so he had devices, the EMF and the K2 and devices on the table. So he's calling out and so on and so on. You did hear a few knocks and whatnot. It was November, so I'm wearing a scarf. And the woman got a little upset because he said that your gran sits over in the back seat watching you. Can you smell any flowers? And she goes, I do smell flowers. And when I'm in work sometimes, her gran's favorite flowers. And then she got upset and she's linking my arm. And I'm like, girl, I'm only in this a year. If I run, you're coming with me,
Yeah.
I run, you run. And they did grace of God because we were in a cafe that there was still lights on in the fridge because I was new to it and I was still a little bit, oh my God. Anyhow, she got upset and she linked my arm. And then you ever spray perfume or aftershave or something like that, and you miss your neck and you get your mouth. So I started tasting perfume. So I'm like, thinking about it. So here I am. I'm kind of like putting my head down to my scarf because it was dark. So smelling if it's the same perfume. No, did I inhale my, the perfume off my scarf? And then I was kind of leaning out here, in the dark, like sniffing the air out there to my right. And then in the dark, I'm kind of leaning into her and sniffing her. I'm sniffing her, to see if it's off her. Yep. And then I was kind of getting a little nervous and I was like, Mick. And I knew if I said it, they know I know. That I know that they know and they know that I know. Yep. So I was a little nervous saying it to Mick, and I said, Mick, I can, and I was stuttering because I was so afraid to say it. I said, I can taste perfume. And everything went off. Everything went off. I had to say, she got it.
I mean, apart from the headaches, we smell Parma violets. Now we don't have Parma violets in the house. We've never had Parma violets here, but for some reason, I've got a thing about Parma violets.
That was my foot. That was my foot, my finger.
I love eating Parma violets. So if my kids ever get like a sweet bag and there's Parma violets in them, they're mine. And no one else will eat them, and I love them. But when Joanne comes through, I smell Parma violets, and I have a headache right in the back of my head at the top of my spine. And it is so weird, but it's got to be the two. If I just get the headache, that's to me is just a headache. But when it's combined with the Parma violets, I know then she's around because we don't have Parma violets in the house. So we don't have any perfumes or air fresheners that smell similar.
Yeah.
What
Get the
what
smell.
what about you, Tim and Richard? I mean, sorry guys, you have been over quiet as well, so I'm going to poke yous to wake yous.
No, I've been investigating for I'm my first experience when I was about 13, and I've never done any cleansing or whatever you want to call it. And I've never had an attachment. I can't believe that just by saying a few words or waving a bit of sage around would stop anything anyway. Do you know what I mean? I know it's the intent. It's the intent, but no, I've never had an attachment, and I don't think I ever will because I'm too strong-willed to have anything attach itself to me.
That's what I was going to say about you. What about you, Richard?
Well, I'm quite lucky because I've got Gary obviously on the team. He's the demonologist, and if anything attaches to me, then it'll go as soon as I enter my flat. So I've got a big block of obsidian in the corner, which doesn't like it wards away negative spirits. I'm stuffed if I get one that's nice, but I don't mind one that's nice. A female, one of them succubusses, yeah.
You mean an incubus? That's more like your style, as incubus.
Get an incubus, that's fine. But it's I have brought spirit home with me before I lived in this flat, and that was from Guy's Cliff, and that was where I had it thrown at me. I bought a tall bloke with a flat cap and a little black dog. And we hadn't got a dog at the time, but we got a black cat, and we've got the presence of another black cat that we'd seen on the stairs before. We knew which one it was. We get this dog running up and down the stairs, and we're thinking, what bloody hell's that? And then this shadow would follow it, this bloke in a flat cap, and it was me. And I just had to wait for everybody to go out the house, like the ex-missus, wait for her to go out the house. I made her take the kids out, and I just sat in the bedroom where it seemed to accumulate from, and I just sat there for about an hour just telling it wasn't welcome in the house and to go back where it came from. And after that, I didn't see anything that night, and as up to this day, I don't think anything's been seen. But my children are Harvey is just like me. He's going to be the next Dutch Scrooge investigator when he's old.
Oh, bless.
He walked into the toilet on the way to Wales, and he's like, Dad, I can feel the energy in here. Bring the K2, and I'm like, what?
Oh, bless them. Oh, bless them. Right, guys. Oh, sorry, Tim, on you go.
Well, I was just going to say. I mean, these are spirits of people, supposedly, and just you saying to them, "You're not allowed in here." People have got their own sort of I'm coming in anyway kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How can somebody just saying you're not allowed to follow me home, you can't come in here?
Yeah.
How can that just stop people if they want to come anyway?
I believe it's called setting the boundaries.
See, when people say this, I've got a very, very strong opinion in this one, guys. I'm skeptical. Oh, fuck. There's the word skeptical again. But when I'm skeptical, I'm respectful compared to certain folk. Say no more. But when an element in me doesn't believe in the protection, right? Because I don't think it really works. Because
No.
regardless of you putting protections out and boundaries, doing whatever, nailing your door up or whatever, spirits are going to follow you home. Because if you make a connection with these people, and I'm
Yeah.
going to use the word people rather than spirits, because
Yeah.
sometimes I think
Totally agree.
I kind of don't like the term spirits, to be fair, because I think they were people once, regardless if they're dead or not. The way that I see it is, that's like me, right? Nick, I'm picking on you again just because I like you. So I've passed away. Nick goes out to one of the prisons, one of the asylums. I'm living in there. I've been living in there for
Which were you in, the pub or the asylum?
well, it's a bit
Whichever
of a
one
dicey
sells
one.
iron brew.
Exactly, Wayne. So the next thing you know, Nick comes in and investigates, and I love Nick's energy and how he speaks to me, and he's very, very respectful.
Okay.
And I want to go home with Nick, and he tells me at the end of the night, which he always tells me, "No, you're not coming home with me." So then he says, "I'm not coming home with him." That's not going to stop me if I have a connection with Nick.
Exactly. That's my point.
It's like, I'm going to. I don't care if he's throwing holy water at me or telling me, give me God's prayer.
Yeah. Sage, it's some sage. I don't care
By the
about
way,
sage.
see next week when Ben and Louise is here. Don't mention sage to Ben because Ben has sage rage. So the next thing you know,
Rage.
he does. He's so funny. See when you mention sage, oh my god, it's like lighting a firework and watching it go. It's like
The only thing that sage is good for is stuffing.
Yes.
well,
with a bit of time.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, and the onion.
But I totally that's my opinion, right, guys? I'm going to have to go into comments because we're 8 minutes away from finishing. Just in case there's any more questions. I'm not lost with the comments. Where are you, Samantha? Right, so you've done blah blah blah. You've done. Why the hell is this moving all the comments? This is not funny. Hey, Joanne.
I think we already
That
went
they're having a conversation. I know. Hi, Donna. But I don't know why these comments are moving. They're moving round about, and I'm lost. With right, Sam. I'll start with Sam. Sam says, would you guys like to hear my Buddhist paranormal story I've never experienced on this podcast sometime? Yes, Samantha, the only thing is it won't be to next year because we're booked up for the rest of the year.
We got a waiting list, Sam.
So what I would say is
January.
What I would say is definitely I'm not going to start that schedule to October, November time. So I'll come back to you.
I'll remind you.
Thank you very much.
I'm in regular contact with Sam, so I'll remind you.
Can I just say, Samantha, if you get in touch with us on the Weird Room, you can come on and tell us your story on the Weird Room.
Oh, no. Bugger off. No, you.
Tim, that's poaching.
No, it's fair.
You're killing me. You're bloody killing me. So Sam, if you want to go to Timothy, that's okay. I have no issues. But you know what, Timothy? Screw you.
You can really go off people sometimes.
I know. I bring him on a Friday night. Now he's taking my fucking guests.
No, I'm
Um,
not.
I'm only pulling your
Lois.
leg.
I'll
Lois,
get
you
us
notice
there.
Tim ain't asked me if I want to go on the weird room.
Me
You can
neither.
come on the weird room
Yeah.
anytime, mate.
I'll
Anybody
tell you.
can. We need guests on the weird room. We need guests.
Well,
We're a new
I'll
show. We'd
tell.
love anyone to come on.
Well, I tell you what. I'll go all out. I'll come on your weird room. I mean,
Yes.
why would you say no to this,
Oh,
Faith?
yeah. You're as weird as all of us, aren't you?
Oh, I am. So Tony says, "Let's go, Tom. Island's only an hour on Tim. Island's only an hour on the
I presume
plane."
that's me, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Donna says, "I remember that, Jenny." Gary says, "Jen, next time you go to the bloody chapel, can you please leave some charged herbs in that or on the oblate for me?"
Oubliette.
Yep,
And I
St.
think
Bernard's medal, thank you.
And you know, I just bought a second St. Benedict medal a few days ago, and I will place that when we go back down to Lep Castle.
Awesome. Gary says attachments are great. You can send all sorts through, i.e. photographs. Tony says, yeah, we know how that says why people do it.
Yeah, the haunted antiques place, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Donna says, I had one doing cold cases. I had bruises all over me, just appeared on my body, not cool. Tony says, I do protection spells because that's what I've been taught to do, protect the guests. Gary, I don't see why you just didn't come on the show. I once got told that an attachment, I locked down and removed the toilet tissue from my shoe. Samantha says, Wayne, I have protection all the time with me now, and yet I still have bastards knocking on my windows and doors. So I think they just really like my perfume.
That's just the debt collectors, Sam.
Yeah. In fact, Sam, it could be the TV license. Liz says, yeah, I remember that. Aye. Samantha says, Wayne, was this the same people who would call out saying if you're here, tap once for yes, two for no? And you said in our bloopers, why would they tap for no when they're not there? Liz said, I had took photos when that happened to you, when we were on the video, but these things that are in your house, and they'd done some cold cases. Sam says, I can confirm the TCP smell was stronger than anything in that place. It was extremely nasty. Whoever there was hated women. I was in there and felt like they just the energy, they wouldn't leave you alone. Tony says, I always know when my nan's around as I smell cigarettes, no one smokes in my house. Samantha says, Wayne, I remember Joanne came out as well as at the mill investigation with the children. Sorry, I do apologise, I've got to kill my cats. There, etc. But if I remember rightly, we had around 3 different stories of what happened in that place. I'm going backwards. Samantha said, yep, you've got me bloody working tonight. Yep, you've got Sidemen Guardians come to help mine as always. I feel kind of like my body's floating away. Tony's shouting, Timothy! Strong-willed Tim, more like a stubborn burger. Samantha says, I was always told that Sage this pisses the dark spirits further, makes them stronger. Bring the K2 into the toilet, Rich. That's a whole different kind of spirit. Liz says, the spirits for people want some bad, some good. If the spirits want you to see them, they will come out. Sometimes they had to come out. Tim, Samantha says, I completely understand your thoughts on this thing with protection and boundaries and place in my personal view. If they're powerful enough, they'll still get in.
Yeah.
I will save you a couple of months for you, then I've lots to tell you, mate. Tony says, you're not even asked your paranormal group to come on the weird room. Samantha says, but the big one will be saved for January for you, Lo. Start January with a bang. I knew you loved me. And Mary, hi Mary from the Netherlands. Right, guys, unfortunately I'm going to have to cut the show because Joe is on next. So quickly, next week will be part 2 of Galveston. If you didn't see part 1, check it out, guys. It's a cross between All My Tablets Duty Die as well at 5%. Brilliant. Quickly, so check it out, guys. You'll find it on things. Part 1, that'll be part 2 next week. As I told you, we'll have Ben and Louise Winfield next Friday. Now, everybody, please stay safe. I want to thank everybody who came tonight, everybody in the chat. Jen, thanks for coming on. Rich, thank you very much for coming on. Gary, thank you very much for commenting in the background. But everybody have a good weekend and all stay safe.
Nice.
All right. Sorry, what?
Wait, what?
Don't forget on the Things Network on a Monday night at 9:30 GMT,
Oh,
the Dark Mirror Boys.
Yay!
Sorry. Right. On a Monday night, you have those 3 boys for the Dark Mirror show. Go and watch them. Things Network, folks. But everybody take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Manana.
Bye.
Toodles.